Hi, everybody. It's Christina, and welcome to the class. The class is a Michael Masterclass. It's the time of Michael at the end of September, and this class can be taken all year long to learn how to connect, contact, and co-create with a spiritual being. I've been working this way for most of my life. Half my life I've studied with shamans, and the other half I've researched and studied Western mystery traditions, Buddhism, cross-cultural sacred traditions, contemplative mindfulness practices. I've meditated all my life. So I've also taught men and women's groups and groups on personal healing, personal development, using shamanic and these actual techniques for the students, and with tremendous results. So the caveat is you want to give it a try. You want to actually do a piece of art, try some of the techniques, do it all the way through to the end of your process, and see what happens afterwards. The thing with working spiritually with art, or shamanically, or even with a depth psychological focus, this is actually a way of life. This is a indigenous, and it's a quieter inner life. It's an inner life that is deep and rich, filled with treasures. And the more that you do a contemplative life and add to that, the deeper and more restful and peaceful and quiet, but also you'll get results. And the results are in the doing of the practice, making art, in this case with Michael, the archangel, in mind as sort of an offering, to use these steps and techniques and see which ones you enjoy and which ones really excite you. And because there's a lot that I offer in the group, there's many techniques in the group that you can pick up and add to your toolkit. And this class was before I learned how to video. This was painting was done in 2018, and it's one of the most beautiful Michaels that I've done, and I really love the painting. But also I talk about my process, so that as you can see as the pictures are moving, I'm talking about what happened internally. Because even though the painting is beautiful, anything that we make will be wonderful. It's art as it is, and that's totally acceptable, however it looks. But for me, I'm a trained artist. I've been working artistically my entire life. So you'll see that in the results of what I do. But that isn't really the most important thing. The most important thing was the inner transformation, what is called metanoia, the change of heart and mind. And I talk about a personal experience that happened to me when I was working on this painting. And I don't tend to share them. So I thought a great deal about if I was going to share what happened or not publicly, out for public consumption. So I'm trusting you to hold that as a sacred content and a sharing, but also gives you an idea of how precious your own experiences are. And they're really to be held close to the heart. And in the spiritual traditions and in the Native American traditions, these spiritual experiences can be fleeting and very beautiful. And we have found over the centuries that the more you share, the less you'll get back from the spiritual world. So it really is a precious gift to hold in your heart. And there's also dreaming, there's active imagination, there's how to start a contemplative practice and the outline of what a contemplative practice is, especially the sacred reading and contemplation and integration. This has been going on for centuries, and they've been in the Christian and probably actually every tradition, but I wanted to bring it in a more contemporary terms so that people could understand it and not get triggered by anything religious. Although Michael is, of course, a Christian iconography or a Christian archetype. But the good news is Michael is found cross-culturally, even back to Babylon. So that's also in the class, is studying or researching a story about Michael, so that you enliven yourself, you activate your will. You get excited about, oh, what does Michael look like? How can I represent him? What is overcoming the dragon? What does that mean? And if you're beginning at this can be a fabulous journey, because it's really the basis of all psychology and the inner work of becoming a nun or a monk or a saint or a realized person. Is we have to look at our dark side, the devil, the shadow, the dragon. So what is your dragon nature is something that you can consider when you do this. And you want to keep it light, because life is a long process and we have a long time to clean up our act and get rid of some of the dross that's in our soul, and clear some space so some light can come in. So I'm hoping that this class will give you all those tools that you'll be very excited about, not just doing a Michael at Michaelmas, which is in the autumn, in the September, but there's other earth art festivals as well, right? There's the equinox, there's spring, there's the Christmas, there's Easter, there's millions of different holidays depending on what culture you're from. So these aren't just points of interest in your culture, whatever your culture is. They're actually very, very deep. So if you want to expand and amplify and extrapolate something beautiful in your own culture, look to your icons, look to your archetypes, look to those beautiful, beautiful representations that are within your own culture, because they actually could be calling you forward into a different life. And that's what Michael did for me. I studied shamanism with shamans and trained for many, many years, about 30, I think. But I did everything. I did cross-cultural work. I worked Buddhism. I did followed a guru. I meditated for hours a day. I did Wicca. I did ceremonial magic. I was a seeker, and I loved the shamanic path because there's so many indigenous cultures and teachers. They have what's called in Navajo the beauty way. And the beauty way is actually what I teach, because that is the path of Western mystery traditions. That's the path of ancient traditions. That's the path of Buddhism. It's the path of the Hindu traditions. We have such rich cultural heritage, all of us, and we all come from very different backgrounds. But for Michaelmas, we're working on Michael and the dragon. And that image can be what speaks to you. He could be a figure from your own religion, from your own folk soul, from your own region and culture. And the dragon can look like what the dragon looks to you. But the dragon has a lot to teach us, and so does Michael. So I hope you enjoy the class, and you can add it to your creative toolkit. Thanks so much. This is Christina West. Let's get creative. Happy Michaelmas. Enjoy your time with Michael. I'll see you in class. Thanks for taking it.